This is the Roller Coaster Podcast, and I'm your host, Lucie Q. Life is a wild ride. It has twists and turns. It's scary, exciting, and downright fun. So throw your head back, arms in the air, and come along with me for the ride.
Life is like a roller coaster, baby, baby. I wanna ride.
Thanks for joining me for this episode 96. I can't believe that in just a few days, I'm going to be releasing episode 100. That's going to happen on July the 8th. So make sure you set a reminder because that's when I'm making a big announcement. Okay, so today we're going to continue on the path of self-improvement with part 5 of the 7-part series. And today we're going to chat about how it's important to look to your past so that you can heal and move forward. Your past. Geez, those are two little words that carry so much baggage. I used to think that I could box up and hide past hurts. I thought that if I stashed them away somewhere, then it didn't matter. And one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn is how to look back, reframe, withdraw hidden lessons, and then let go. And you've probably heard it a million times that releasing the past is an important step in life. It's important if you want to keep moving forward. And when you look back on your life, you can reflect on all of the experiences that you've been encountering. Some of them have been happy, fun, exciting, and others, not so much. You know how you feel when you look back on those happy memories? You can feel it again just by recalling that memory. Well, the same goes for those memories that we often want to hide away. And just like when you remember a happy memory, the pain of those negative experiences can also come rushing back. We can feel exactly how we did when it originally happened, whether it was only last week, last year, or 10 years ago. For some reason, we're quick to hold on to these bad memories and slow to remember all of the good ones. And being stuck in those past negative experiences can stop you from being happy today. They'll also stop you from moving forward. Looking back can be uncomfortable because of the emotions that are attached to those memories. Emotions are the feelings that you've attached to your past experiences, and that's what you have to dive into. You have to reframe them and then let go. To move forward, you need to reframe how you think about things like failure. You may encounter regret, and you'll likely have to learn to give yourself and forgive others. Take a moment to ask yourself how deeply you're holding on to the past. What emotional baggage are you still carrying around? Think of your emotional baggage like a bad relationship. A bad relationship that you're having with yourself. How has that relationship changed you? Has it held you back? The weight of not dealing with unresolved emotions is what can keep you stuck. And eventually, you'll have to unpack those bags. You can start by questioning things and getting to know yourself again. See the world through different eyes. When I hit rock bottom, I asked myself, if I don't want to be this person anymore, then who do I want to be? I had a conversation with a friend recently who had encountered many challenges and realized that they needed to change. They're in the early stages of this self-improvement journey, and he said to me that although he can now look to the future and he doesn't see doom and gloom, but what he does see is just blank, like a big bright white space. I pointed out to him that that was the canvas of his life, and he could paint any picture he wanted. On this journey, whether you're re-examining the past or embarking on a new future, you'll need to learn how to reframe how you see failure. As kids, we learn through repetition. We learned how to walk, talk, and tie our shoelaces by doing it over and over and over again until we figured it out. I mean, look at toddlers. They do everything they can to take those first steps. And they fall way more times than they actually do spend time walking. But each time they fall, they work on getting right back up again. They don't see their attempts as failure. We weren't born with the impulse to judge ourselves. That came with practice. Somewhere along the line, we shifted our perception and went from viewing attempts as mistakes or full-blown failures. We have a societal problem when it comes to failure. The problem is that we view failure through a negative lens and ignore the power that comes from it. Failure can be a guiding light. Some of the most successful people are open about the many failures they've endured before they finally reached the heights of success. Sir James Dyson, Steven Spielberg, Edison, Disney, J.K. Rowling's, Arianna Huffington, they've all proclaimed that they succeeded because they failed. It isn't failure that defines you. It's how you react to failure. If you try and try again, and every time you fail, then you might eventually want to give up. But what if you were to succeed on your very next try? That's what can keep driving you forward. Of course, failure is a kick to the ego. There's nothing better than failure to knock you back down to earth when you've gotten a big head. You don't know everything. You can't. And seeing that is key. You also have to look at your limitations. And part of that means looking for new ideas and searching for answers. When you fail, you should uncover the lessons in it and learn. When you fail, it stings, but you'll also gain a new perspective, or more importantly, the proper perspective in terms of viewing your success. Every single success comes from the broken path littered with defeat, rejection, and missteps. Those failures feed the success you find. It isn't the act of failure in and of itself that results in success. It's the part of failure where you get back up, dust yourself off, and try again. That results in success. Bouncing back after a failure teaches you resilience, and that's what you need to find success. What you want, what you don't want, failure will teach you both. It's like a flashlight that illuminates every part of your soul. It forces you to get to grips with what you really want from life and what you don't want. There's no substitute. So stop looking at failure the way you have been conditioned to, and view each failure as a lesson instead. It's how you respond to that will define you. An important part of embracing failure is acknowledging the pain and fear that it brings. Those are natural responses, and the feelings are normal. There are real consequences to failure, and the emotional result of failure is important, but we can use it to build resilience. Embracing failure without doing the emotional work will chip away at your resiliency, but working through those emotions strengthens it. When you think about resilience, you'll probably think it's about bouncing back after dealing with a challenge. That's part of it. If I ask you to describe a resilient person, you'll likely tell me that it's someone who bounces back quickly after going through a difficult time. Someone who easily goes back to the person they were before the trouble started. That's still kind of true. But after you experience a profound hardship, you can't just bounce back. At least, you can't be who you were before. That doesn't mean that you can't be better. Hardship is transformative. It will change you. The fear and the hurt that you experience in those hardships will forever change your outlook on life, and it will change your perspective. So, resilience isn't about being unaffected by hardships or failure. It isn't about standing unvanquished through adversity. It is finding your way through a challenging emotional landscape, blending the hardships with its lessons, and moving forward in a healthy and positive way. Everyone has their own journey in life. The struggles and hardships that you face are going to be different than the struggles and hardships your friends face. It isn't a competition, and we shouldn't compare our situations. When you experience failure, when you run into a hardship, you won't be the same person you were before, but you can rebuild yourself into a stronger, more resilient person. Now, regret is a complicated emotion that also often bubbles up when we're looking at our past. On one hand, it would be great if we could live without regret, but every choice you made in life has brought you to this very moment right now. And as you look back on your life, there are likely a lot of things that you love about your life. Sure, you might want to go back and fix your mistakes and make different choices. But what if that changed your life today? You can't go back and take back those nasty words you hurled at someone, but you can identify it as regret and then make sure you make a different choice next time. Let's face it, hindsight's 2020, and we're all just human beings. So beating yourself up for a past decision is destructive. When you know better, you do better. When you look back on past events, also remember to trust that you made the best possible decision for you at that moment. And another trap people fall into is romanticizing the road not taken. After all, we only have one chance to live life. So don't waste it wallowing in the regrets of your past. Make peace with those regrets and find a way to use them to move forward. There's a romantic aspect to daydreaming about what we could have had or should have had or might have been. But that's not going to get you where you're going. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you try. It feels as though you will never be able to let go of the past and move on. It's like being crushed under the heavy burden that no one even asked you to carry. And that's exactly what it is. A burden that you put on your shoulders and decided you had to carry. You shackled yourself a long time ago, and you wonder why you can't let it go? Your friends keep telling you to, but as simple as it sounds, it feels kind of impossible. Whether you're holding on to the pain that comes from betrayal, a grudge that fuels your anger, or you find that you can't forgive someone, none of those things are doing you any favors. Your brain processes positive and negative experiences differently. Negative experiences need a deeper level of thinking, so they're processed more thoroughly than positive ones. This means that we're essentially conditioned to hold on to adverse events, and then effectively you turn yourself into a sad hamster on an ever-spinning wheel of misery. The good news is that you can get off that hamster wheel. And it begins by severing the emotional attachments you've created with the negative experiences of your past. There is only one way to acknowledge your past, learn from it, and let go. And that starts with forgiving yourself. Now remember, while you might be the hero in your own story, you have to stop painting yourself that way. Because no one's a hero. We're just all people trying to do our best. And you're the only person who can truly define who you are. So don't blame others when you lose control, and don't let others paint you into a corner or define the terms by which you'll live. It's on you. It's your choice. When something goes sideways, we're quick to blame ourselves, and it can be difficult to accept it, especially when you have a perfectionist tendency. Everyone makes mistakes. It doesn't make you a failure. You have to forgive yourself. You can fix the mistake. And a mistake is merely a stepping stone in your bigger journey. You learn from it and you keep going. Your problems aren't what define you. You're not the sum of your failures. Your stories and experiences aren't what define your identity. It's how you react to them that defines you. Your past can be your greatest teacher if you're willing to uncover its lessons. Your past holds happiness, accomplishments, success, and many positives. But there's also a good chance you've had your fair share of negative experiences. That's life. Everyone experiences ups and downs in life because life is a roller coaster. Life can toss shit our way, and some days we dodge it, and other days we put our foot right in the middle of it. All of these colorful experiences helps us appreciate the good times. The bad times, that gives us the strength to navigate the really shitty times. So, if you're finding yourself stuck or realize the weight of the baggage that you've been dragging around for years, look to your past for answers, and you'll find that you'll unlock a whole new future. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, your support of the roller coaster is always appreciated. If you can, leave a rating and a review. It will help me reach more people. Don't forget to join me, not Friday, but Thursday for episode 100. And until then, I'm sending you my virtually distant hugs. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Roller Coaster Podcast. Want to chat or share your ideas about today's show? Pop me an email at hello@therollercoasterpodcast.com. Don't forget to connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at The Roller Coaster Podcast. Our theme song, Roller Coaster, was performed by The Lucky Setback. Audio editing by the one and only Jeff Quigley of Quigley Creator.